Hello, everybody, and welcome to Moohead Radio, the Friday edition. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine, and I'm flying solo because I got to tell you, this is very typical of Thanksgiving time. People are spending time with their families, and who in the hell has time to listen to this? But I will be succinct so I can get to my business with my family. But I wanted to come on here and do a program because, well, that's what I do. And a happy holidays to you, too. I thank you for jumping in and checking things out. If you didn't hear, Greg Newsome is ruled out for the Bucs game, still with his concussion. Ralph Waldo Emerson will be starting in his place. And just one more person that Tom Brady can look at back there. This game, you know what you think I'm going to say, because the history of Tom Brady against the Cleveland Browns is pretty one-sided, clear, and it's not quite Roethlisberger-like as far as domination of the Browns, but right there up there with it. This is not going to be an easy game. No game is going to be an easy game. This is hopefully the last start of the season for Jacoby Brissett. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because if he were to start after this, that means something bad would have happened to Deshaun Watson. Rick, it is confusing, isn't it? You root for the Bucs on Saturday, root against the Bucs Sunday, all right? And no, and you root for the Cavs over the Bucs tonight. All three sports converging. You got the Bucs, and the Bucs. Pretty weird, isn't it? But you're going to be cheering on the Buckeyes as this is the big weekend. Everyone's going to be tuned in at noon to see whether Ryan Day can come up with the appropriate open space passing game to defeat the Michigan Wolverines. To tell you the truth, with Harbaugh, Jim style, I just don't like the guy. I don't think anybody in Ohio likes the guy. I would question whether anybody in Michigan really would be able to stand him if they really knew him. He's a strange and bizarre individual. But you know that anything can happen with 18, 19, and 20-year-olds on the field. We'll see what happens with the blue, and I lived in Flint for 9.5 years. So I know, what University of Michigan popularity and Michigan State, we were kind of thrown right in the middle of the whole thing. And so it was divided, and each set of fans were equally obnoxious. Yeah, there you go. Tom, you got it right. You enjoying your turkey? Yeah. And Sean Moody, how you doing, Sean? Nice to see you. Emerson didn't play well last game, but I'll take him over Newsome. Actually, I'd rather have Ralph Waldo Emerson than Henry David Thoreau. Because personally, that Walden Pond thing, weak sauce, man. Weak sauce. You're going to, Emerson at least has been somewhat aggressive this year. And it's tough when you're a rookie. He didn't expect to be playing this much, but sure enough, bingo, there he is. So, yeah, it's interesting. Ann Arbor is nice. Flint, not so much. Well, I'll tell you something. Ann Arbor is a nice little college town, and Lansing is, with Michigan State, that's a nice town. Flint's kind of a hard scrabble town, but you'll never hear me say anything bad about Flint, Michigan, because I was there for 9.5 years and had a very enjoyable time in my life while I lived there. So you'll never hear me say anything bad about Flint, even though the media got very focused on Flint while I was there. Every town in the industrial heart of the country took a hit. I mean, if it's not Flint, it's Youngstown. If it's not Youngstown, it's upstate New York, Syracuse, Binghamton, where I also was. Any place in Pennsylvania where the steel plants were, And Keith Emerson would be the way to go. That would be the way to go. Yeah. I'm right with you, Rick. About 5 seconds behind you. And that's true. The home of Grand Funk Railroad. That's exactly right. A lot of things happen in Flint, the fighters came out of Flint, Bird being the big one, and who actually won a light heavyweight, then a heavyweight championship. A lot of good things came out of Flint, but it had its edge to it, no doubt about that. Now, Nathaniel Hawthorne, that's another story altogether, and Emily Dickinson. That would be forced coverage. Chubb needs to have a good game. Yeah, well, it's only as good as the blocking in front of him. Look, I'm not going to conjure images of O.J. Simpson, seeing as how he killed people. But, O.J. Simpson, when he first came up to Buffalo, had like a 3.8 yard per carry. He was supposed to be the greatest thing since Slice Goldman's coming out of USC. And he was not, but he didn't get that electric company front line going until like 2 years later, and then he was unstoppable. So I think there is going to be a surprise in this game as far as the Bucs running all over us. My feeling is Tom Brady gets rid of the ball so fast, you can't predicate your defense on speeding him up. He's 40 years old. He knows what he's doing. He's been there and back 14,000 times, and you're not going to rattle him. The question is about the strength of his arm at this point in his life. And I would like to see tighter coverage on the wide receivers, to be very honest with you. I don't know that the ball has the zip that it used to have. And if we can get hands in the lane and get them batted, tipped, or whatever, that's a better chance. Let him throw bombs if he can, because the ones I saw earlier in the season were dramatically underthrown. Hello to Key Smith. How are you, Key? Just funny, everyone was saying that Chubb would be our hero last year, but Cooper, someone who played for a dog shit team at the time, is ironically our hero now. I think that Chubb has had it tough since teams have stacked the front line with 8 men. And until we have wide receivers who can make people pay, it's not gonna really matter. But I do have opinions about this game, and my opinions run counter to what other people are saying, Kevin Stefanski included. Quote, here's this great quote from his presser. And once I saw this quote, I didn't even listen to the presser, to be honest with you. We have to find a way to get a win. Coach, it's all on your fucking shoulders because you're the head coach and you're the offensive play caller. You are the offensive coordinator de facto. You have to find a way to win at this point, my friend. And I don't know that there is a plan of attack. I think this is kind of like Wheel of Fortune. I think you just kind of spin the big wheel and you see where it ends up pointing and what you end up with. In my mind, the Browns are due to win. The thing that's funny is we're talking about a Tampa Bay team that is 5-5, and the media wants them to get their shit together in the final 7 games. So this can be the great homage, farewell season for Tom Brady. They don't want him to go out as a mere mortal. They want to blow him, you see. I don't care about Tom Brady. I've never cared about Tom Brady. Anybody who's ever come in contact with Robert Kraft, with the exception of the Korean girl who jerked him off, I have a problem with. It's not her, because she was forced to do it. And that is what I call systemic rape. But that's for another time and another place. And the Bucs do have a good defense, Tom. And that's what's going to make this real tricky. And you know that they are going to look to take the run away from the Browns. I mean, that's what everybody's doing. And there has to be some way of getting people open. My personal feeling is this is the last game as a starting quarterback for Jacoby Brissett. And I am going to ruin the whole premise of the show by saying I'm picking the Browns to win 24-23. And you're going to say, Mr. Moohead, how in the hell could you think that? And it's kind of like if you step up to the roulette wheel and, you pick a number. I guess if you do it so many times, eventually you'll pick the right number. Yeah? That's the way I look at this. I look at this as the Browns eventually have to win a game, and the Bucs are 5-5. Let's not get totally carried away about how great the Bucs are. They're a 500 football team. And I know they had a good win last week. Tom Brady had a good game, yada, yada, yada. But I remember what Joe Louis said. You're going to say, what's that have to do with football? And the same thing that Muhammad Ali said. And that was, when you get older, and this was in the fight game, there was a greater chance that you'd have an off night. Because the consistency isn't there. The reflexes aren't quite as sharp in the ring. And sometimes you get up not feeling right. Sometimes you ended up overtraining or compensating by undertraining, whatever the case may be. So, I mean, you would see Muhammad Ali fight George Foreman in Zaire and knock him out. And then, no more than like a year or two later, you would see him manage to beat Ernie Shavers, but he was pissing blood after he fought Ernie Shavers. And then against Leon Spinks, when the Parkinson syndrome was starting to kick in, he got beat by Leon Spinks, the vampire. And then 6 months later, a contractual rematch, we knew that Ali wasn't himself, but he had a better training regimen, was on his toes for the majority of the fight, and baffled Leon Spinks, which wasn't hard to do because he was a functional illiterate. But my point is, the fact that Tom Brady had a good game last week doesn't mean shit to me today. The man's 40 years old, and he could have a bad game. He could flat out suck. He could underthrow all of his receivers. Any goddamn thing is possible. So my belief is it's going to be a close game. The problem is Tom Brady is going to throw short passes. Tom Brady is not going to stand in the pocket and let anybody get to him. It's going to be very precise short routes and then take an occasional shot down the field. When you play that kind of football, scoring points is, as far as touchdowns, not easy to do. Because you move the ball slowly down the field, we can attest to this, and then you get into the red zone, it becomes more difficult because everything is compacted. And Tom Brady, if he's throwing short passes, will be in situations like 1st and goal from the 8-yard line, and everything's compacted in. Now, the Browns might blow their coverage like they consistently do and give up touchdowns. But my feeling is the game is going to be held down by just how long it takes each team to get down the field. And my feeling is that Brissett will have a nice game. I also think it's going to take a last-second field goal by Cade York to win the football game. Be that as it may. 24-23 Browns. Nobody really agrees with me, although if you take a look at the national gambling lines on this, the Bucs are only a 51% chance of winning this game. This is a home game after all. And the thing is, you never know. If you can make him scramble toward the one side of the field that's torn up, never mind. I promised myself I wouldn't go there. But I have to touch upon the desecration of the Browns field at First Energy Stadium. I'm not talking about what the guy in the golf cart did. I mean the team. I'm all for the guy in the golf cart. It's like, far out, man. The fans have to be heard. I'm just sorry he didn't get out there long enough to write something in turf damage. Like, fuck you, Haslam. Try getting that fixed and showing that on CBS. Because I could see Spiro Ditas. I could see him. I can't quite make that out. What is that? Oh, wait. Fuck you, Haslam. Ooh. I'm happy. To me, the fans have to speak. This isn't good enough. And it means desecrating the field, desecrate the fucking field. Team hasn't done its job. Stefanski hasn't done his job. Woods hasn't done his job. Front office didn't do its job drafting. The analytics people don't know what the job is because they're not even football people. And the owner is a schmuck. "24-23 Browns." I'm going to keep repeating it until it becomes a reality. Rick May says, no. 31-23. If Tom Brady puts up 31 points against the Browns, I'm sorry, but I'm likely to go postal, and I'm going to call some friends of mine who are Russian expatriates who like to do the kind of work that Tony Soprano used to ask people to do when he needed a favor to get rid of somebody. And pointed at Joe Woods. Tom, I saw the same thing, and it's where it crosses over. And the problem is what angle you look at that, and they have that back, around the, 50-yard line or whatever with a zoom cam. And you're seeing that, and it's hooking left, and it looks like, And then you look at it, you'd have to look at it like I'm looking at this camera and straight on, and nobody has that kind of look with depth incorporated in the look. But yeah, can you imagine if Bass missed it? Take me to the river. It sounds like something Hugh Jackson would sing. Take me to the water. It's big mouth Billy Bass. Well, that's what I was going to say. Bronk, the Bills aren't that good. Let's get real. I mean, they were making a weak-armed quarterback look pretty good. And I really don't think that Allen had a great game. That would make a great Progressive commercial, Sean, wouldn't it? Thursday at home with the Mayfields. God almighty. They ran outside. How come we didn't? Oh, nobody was blocking. Thank you, Topaz. Thank you. Nobody was blocking. And I don't know. Let's be honest. If you saw both the Browns and Detroit on your schedule, you would start salivating like Pavlov's dog. And this is another one of the conspiracy theories, Sean, that De Protesta. I'm going to make up names too. De Protesta is calling the plays for Kevin. I don't know. I don't think that's the case, but I think that everything is drilled in if he wants to remain a head coach with the Haslams, he has to bow down to the great analytics gods. Yeah. We don't have a screen pass. You know what our screen pass is? And I've seen it twice this year. It's the fake end around and then turn around and throw it back to the side that forget it. I couldn't draw it up. I think the guy who drew the play up originally had Parkinson's disease. We can't just run. You think that with 8 men fronts and things like that, you suck them in and just kind of toss the ball to a running back and let him make the first man miss. It's really funny because, Froholt, it's funny that Bronx says that. It reminds me, I call him Fruzenglaja. And this is not going to make any sense to anybody unless you're my age. That was, if you remember Haagen-Dazs, which you might, that was the ice cream that was foreign. That the Kraft company, yes, that Kraft company of the American single slices, decided they were going to make an ice cream called Fruzenglaja to pretend that it was foreign ice cream. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. The Anthony Schwartz, that's mainly a fake thing where he runs in motion and it's gotten to a point where Jacoby Brissett has a tick. I don't know if you noticed this. The guy runs wide, and it's like, and that's the kind of look he gives. It's the fastest look you could give somebody and say at the same time, no, I'm not going to throw to that guy. Oh, God almighty. A lot of people around the league picking the games, NFL, or I should start with USA Today, or maybe tomorrow. The Cleveland Browns at home against the Buccaneers. Let's see if this screen will close because it's not letting me view this. How's that for a sucks? The screen just froze. Kind of like the Browns offense. It's not going to let me view it, but everyone's saying basically the Bucs 24-21, 26-21, 27-24. Everybody's, basically calling that. All 6 of the people from USA Today say Tom Brady's going to win because they want to blow him. Next, we have ESPN.com. The proud 5-5 Buccaneers, fuck them, at the Browns, 3-7, fuck them. Get this, Brady is 7-1 against the Browns in his career, with his only defeat coming in 2010. And I can't even tell you who quarterbacked for us in 2010. I can't tell you that. He's thrown 13 touchdown passes with just 4 interceptions against Cleveland, which is more interceptions than they have this whole season as a team. And of course, Cleveland enters the game with the second worst scoring defense at 26.9, almost 27 points allowed per game in the league this season. Thank you, Joe Woods. Here's the bold prediction by Jake Trotter. He's supposed to be on our side, cocksucker. This is the week the Bucs' number 32 ranked ground game will hit a season high of 175 rushing yards. No. That's too easy. That's too easy. Oh, it's going to be the total upset of things. The worst rushing team, the Browns are going to give up 175 yards from. No, that's not how it's going to happen. If the Browns are going to go down to inglorious defeat, it will be with them shining the knob of Tom Brady, who throws for over 400 yards. But that's not going to happen either. Browns 24, Bucs 23. Keep saying it over and over again. Here's a little history. The random thing about Haagen-Dazs was made by an American wanting to pretend it sounded Dutch. He pulled the names from the New York phone book And also, Stefanski sucks ass. Thank you. I like being educated. And also, that's what we should start doing. All the posts should have a little thing at the end. And also, and then you can say whatever you want to say. All right. So here we sit at this time. We're 25 minutes and 20 seconds into the program. All right. So I want to see all this happening in the chat room. And also, and then go ahead and say what you have to say. They're not going to run, though, for 175 yards. Brady is 15-5 in his career off the bye week, and this has been their bye week. Oh, thank you, Bronk. 2010 was Jake Delhomme and Colt McCoy. God, makes me wince just thinking about that. And I was watching. And you actually remembered that this was the Peyton Hillis game. And also, Stefanski sucks. And there's Stephen Rose. Oh, my God. By any other name. The Browns 24, Bucs 21. Browns fan storm the field. There's only one there. Thank you. And also, Joe Wood sucks. So Brady is 15-5 in his career off the bye week, which is tied with Troy Aikman, 9-3, for the fourth best win percentage off a bye since it was instituted in 1990. By the way, the leading quarterbacks after a bye week: Donovan McNabb, 11-1, John Elway, Horsemouth, 8-2, and Peyton Manning, 13-4. So this is all you people who are analytically inclined. I always can count on Pete Prisco. What an asshole. Bucs 30, Browns 17. And no, Mr. Prisco. Your last name rhymes with Crisco, which is what I use when I fuck your wife in the ass. It's not going to be 30-17. 24-23 Browns. All right. And let's see what Mel has to say here. Brady will throw for 300 and get arrested in the locker room after the game for his involvement in the FTX fraud. Thank you. Hey, KB in Schmorpus Crispy, Texas. Says Bucs 24, Browns 13. No! I'm just having a good old time. Here's what NFL.com has to say. Tampa Bay 24, Cleveland Browns 17. I'm just giving the fans their say. In the next 300 years, the Browns will go to 4 straight Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Massaquoi and Robisky better than Amari and DPJ. It's right up there with your baseball trades, Bronk. At 31-27, Ron Shane stepping in and taking my side of the argument. And even Bronk is saying, if you force me to listen and watch this game, it might as well be boring. 12-11. Clear eyes. Will we win the coin toss? Yes, and we'll defer. And then watch Tom Brady move the ball meticulously down the field. KB and Corpus is a Moohead OG. That goes way back, man. Way back. Way back time machine. Oh, I forgot. Cindric Steptoe? Oh, forget it. The Browns do rarely win the coin toss. You know something that really bothers me watching the Thanksgiving Day games? every spot, the team with the better record gets the best spots. Are you noticing this from the officials? It's like they intentionally run up when the lesser team has the football and take a little quick look at where the chain is and set the ball back. We've had it done to us a ton of times. A ton of times. And I was watching it through all three games. It's like, it's really weird. The team with the history of losing, the Detroit Lions, get the lousy spots. And the teams like Buffalo, who are winning, get the better spots. And it's like, and the Browns, I don't even want to go there. So everybody's saying the Browns are going to lose except for me. And I like my chances on this one. Not enough to bet any money. Now that I have spoken my piece, what little piece I have to speak about the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Cavaliers have a game tonight. And they're in Milwaukee. And it's going to be tough. We had to play this team once there at Fiserv, and we lost. And let's see if we learned something. We were playing them, and that was really part of the downward little spiral we were in. I have a suggestion for JB Bickerstaff. Let Giannis score as many fucking points as he wants to. Let him throw up as many shots. You shut down everybody else. You don't leave Brook Lopez standing in corners wide open. You don't let Holiday, wide open. You don't let them hit 3-point shots. You just let him, and if he wants to go to the free throw line, let him score 45 points. Let him score 45. And see if they can win. See if his 45 will trump the 50 points that our two guards put up. Honestly, you can't let a team that is missing Chris Middleton and some of their other better players, you can't leave guys wide open in the NBA. They shoot too damn well. Now I'm getting all this. Is the Cavs starting lineup going to be on the court together? Well, at this point, there really is no distinct starting lineup except the one that includes Lamar Stevens. So, yeah, you're going to have Darius Garland, you're going to have Donovan Mitchell, and you're going to have Lamar Stevens, and they've been undefeated 4-0 since they put this lineup together. Then you're going to have Evan Mobley, you're going to have Jared Allen. They're all going to be there. Karis LeVert not going to be there, and I think that's great because I think we've gone on a tear since Karis LeVert injured his ankle, and he said he was fine to play, but I don't think so. And then you have Kevin Love, who's been out because he has a boo-boo. He's not the fastest healer in the world, and he had a hairline fracture in his shooting thumb, and he's going to be down probably for a couple weeks, knowing Kevin Love and his pain tolerance issues. But I'm happy with the starting lineup. I think Stevens should have gotten more look as a starter earlier in the year, if for no other reason than he's defensively oriented and you come out with an attitude in the first quarter and you play your men up close. And, if you're going to lose Lamar Stevens to foul trouble, there's nobody who's going to guard Giannis. Let's be clear about that. It's, what you hope to do is put somebody on him. Sacrificial lambs will be Lamar Stevens and Dean Wade. And see if you can body him up and put him on the free throw line, because whether you foul him or not, it's just like Trae Young. He'll end up on the free throw line. And some games, he's very sporadic from the free throw line. So that could be a possible strategy. The other is, if he goes to the basket, instead of pulling up, you want him to pull up and shoot the ball, because he's not that good a shooter. But if he goes to the basket to finish, you got Jared Allen and Evan Mobley that have, basically, Well, they got a lot of fouls to give in a situation like that. The other thing is you don't want to run the second man at Giannis and have him just lob into a dunk. You want to make them work and at least make shots that are contested, not give up easy points in the paint, unless it's Giannis. Let him dribble, and, just smother the other players and see what happens. That is what I would do. As far as offensively is concerned, for the two guards, Garland and Mitchell, are not going to be able to consistently score 50 points a game. That's a given. But so much of what the Cavaliers do or don't do is reliant on an underproducing bench. When Cedi Osman is hot and is hitting threes, team invariably wins. But when he's throwing up bricks and making turnovers, not so. And it's not like they have any great strength coming off the bench right now. This could be interesting to see what happens. By the way, I wanted to ask, are you getting freezing on this video, or are you seeing it okay? If you're in the chat room, please let me know. I would be interested in knowing if this is a smooth, clean stream or whether there is some kind of issue as far as choppiness with this. All right. Any help you can give me, greatly appreciated. The fact is, the Cavaliers are in a different place mentally than they were when they lost to the Bucs last time. Some minor freeze-ups. Yeah. And I don't know what this is, but it's right now, I think it's not a problem I'm having anywhere else except right here on StreamYard. So I'm going to have to check that and see what this is all about at any rate. Okay, very good. Thanks, Key. Thanks to everybody. You're freezing from time to time. By the way, Joe Wood sucks. Thank you. That's how you play the game, you see? It's kind of like Larry King, may he rest in peace. And that's next week on Larry King. What was the name of his show? I don't know. Larry King Tonight. I don't know what it was called. Portland, Oregon, you're on the air. Yeah, so Dylan Windler will never play this year. I keep my mouth shut about things, but this whole PRP shot thing they're saying, I mean, this guy doesn't heal, and he's not going to be around. He's just not going to be around. And Rubber City is saying that every 15 seconds or 15 to 20 seconds it's breaking up for him. I guess it depends where you are. Maybe there's something, local servers are down or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I just keep talking. But the Cavaliers are in a very different mental place right now. And I think they know who the top dogs are, especially in the East. And this is an opportunity to go on their home floor and prove that you can be right there. Larry King Live, thank you. Butte, Montana, hello. Oglala, Nebraska. Yeah, but the Cavaliers are getting experience closing games out and playing on the road. This is all the kind of stuff that comes in really handy if you can make the playoffs. Right now, the Cavs are 12-6. That's not a bad record. They're playing at about a 48-win pace for this year. So keep that in mind. Cavaliers are doing a good job. They just haven't been... I don't like the bench, and I do like Kevin Love off the bench as the first man off the bench, or only option. He can get you some rebounds just based on body positioning. I don't like Karis LeVert, not personally, mind you, but as a basketball player on this team, he doesn't fit in. He's an offense-first guy, and they may try, if he heals, to, and I say if he heals because that ankle has been a problem for him his whole career. They may see if they can catch some heat for him coming off the bench as a sixth man. But honestly, the team just doesn't play as well with him on the floor. Sometimes it's just that way. So I think the Cavaliers go in this time saying to themselves, all right, we know what to expect, and I hope the coaching staff looks at the last game and says, all right, what we didn't do, what we should have done, and defensively, how we can keep them in the range of 104 points, 106 points, and let our offense go to work. And you got to force Lopez to work. You got to use your bigs. I'd like to see, there's two things I'd like to see from Evan Mobley. Stop dribbling the fucking ball. That'd be the first thing. It's like, Evan, please. You are not a ball handler. All right? And you shouldn't be bringing the ball up the floor. You shouldn't be trying to lead fast breaks and be the assist man. Just do what you do. When you come across the lane and they throw the ball to you in the paint, definitively turn and shoot the jump fade. Okay? None of this fake up bullshit. That's Mickey Mouse shit. That's high school, Harry high school bullshit. Definitively make your move, take your shot, because teams are laying off of him when he catches the ball. And if he starts going up with shots, and he can make the shots, he just has to have the confidence not to keep head and shoulder faking. That would be important. We need, if we get 20 from a guy like Mobley, we're in good shape. If he gives us 16 and 10, we're in good shape. So that is what I think. Ah, God. I'm going to end the show with this because there's so many things. No, I got two things I want to end the show with. I don't know if you saw the Jerry Jones 1957 photo. This is crazy. Dallas Cowboys owner said, Jerry Jones said Thursday, he was just a curious kid when he was part of a group of white students confronting black students outside North Little Rock High School. 65 years ago. A curious kid, Jones said. It's like, yet how did you, at that young age, you stupid fuck, get up there with the other older white kids? Well, you hung with them, that's why, you stupid fucking hick. We got a major owner in the NFL when he was 15 or 14 or whatever, and that's who he identified with in high school. We have to ask ourselves why we have a problem in the NFL with owners like these. Patriots. Give me a break. All right. I promised I would end with this story. While we're talking about dumb fucking owners, Jim Irsay takes the cake. He fires Frank Reich and hires a guy who's never done the job, right? We know the story. And he's taken some heat because the team that just beat him, their coach, Nick Sirianni, who used to work beneath Reich, was very emotional, expressing how much he felt about Reich and how much he wanted to beat the Colts because of the way they fired him. I love this quote. Frank Reich firing, not personal. I mean, the guy was 40 and 33 in his tenure with the team, and you didn't do shit for him at quarterback, my man. You didn't do dick. You started throwing every has been or never was when your top line quarterback just ran out of luck. And you blame him. And it's not personal. I can honestly say I fired a lot of people. And I can honestly tell you that in some instances, it was personal. because I couldn't stand the motherfucker that I fired. He was doing a lousy job, but I couldn't stand him. There were other people I fired who I felt terrible about firing. And you know something? They took it personally. You have a job one day, in 5 minutes, you don't have a job. Yes, that's personal. Not personal. And you wonder why these teams don't go anywhere. That's it for me, folks. I'm talked out. I made it through 45 minutes, which was what my goal was, because I want to have some of my Thanksgiving leftovers, and I want to watch. I'm currently binge watching Breaking Bad. Oh, yeah. And I'll watch an episode of that and then watch the Cavaliers at 8 o'clock. I got it all put together. I appreciate everybody stopping by and giving me a listen, and I hope you have a really enjoyable Thanksgiving weekend. I hope everything for you this holiday is everything you hoped it would be. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and I will be back on Sunday at halftime and the post-game show. 24-23, that's the mantra. Say it over and over. Nam myoho renge kyo. 24-23, Browns will win. Say it enough, and you might convince yourselves. Until Sunday, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.